In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. All right, welcome everybody to this week's The Top 10 show. Coming to you live from my place this time around because we're shoving this in right before I head off to New York Comic Con. So I was going to be there too long for us to record another episode, and I'll be damned if Matt and I were going to do it over the phone. We want to do it live and in person.
That's never going to happen. That's going to be
never.
We missed a week. How are you going to have this over the phone? You could, but at the same time, it's not going to be the same.
Well, there's an app that you can do it on where it sounds crystal clear. And I found this out the other day because I've been doing Outlaw Nation. I occasionally interview people over the phone, and it's terrible. So my friend, I think Amy Awesome, she suggested this app. So I think I'm going to get it and try it out on Outlaw Nation first. But yes, it's not our preferred way of doing it.
Just because the in-person, and by the way, I'm Matt Knost.
Now, hello, yes, I'm John Rocha. Welcome to the Top 10 show. Yes.
I think the spark is the fact that we have to look each other in the eye.
That's right.
And we have to interact with one another, in the room.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're trying to recreate that because you don't know if you're stepping on somebody.
Good point.
When they're talking, you're like, I have a point. Oh shit, okay, they're going. Like you can't gauge.
Right.
Or give any physical signal like I got something for this. So
I'm all about this.
Trust me. Yeah, lead me in. Lead me in. Well, it's possible. It is entirely possible.
Sure.
I've listened to podcasts myself where they have people phone in.
Yeah. Bill Simmons does it all the time, which is interesting.
True, but he does it with people he seems to know.
Yes, like Malcolm Gladwell or Chuck Klosterman.
Or one of his buddies.
Yeah.
Just like you know exactly. You have a shorthand with them because you know them personally, as opposed to if it's somebody you don't know for the first time, but we don't have as a guest on the show.
True.
Just like, okay. Not a problem, but
Marin rarely does that. I don't know if I've ever heard him on the phone with anyone.
I can't imagine so.
Yeah, everything is either in his garage or he goes mobile. He brings it to them.
Yeah,
which is I find always interesting. I like to do that. I've been being in person. There's just an extra element to it that makes it work.
Yeah, it's just two people in a room talking, so it's a much more intimate interaction.
Yeah,
as opposed to the disjointed or disconnected of over the phone. It can still work.
Is this how you feel when you have phone conversations? You're like, I feel disjointed from you.
I don't like talking on the phone.
Yeah, you don't. You're not a big fan of it.
I don't.
That was one of the things we established from the beginning.
Yeah, I'll do it every once. I know you enjoy it, or at least you find it productive.
I do.
So when I need to talk to you, and text is going to be too complex because you can lose meaning. That happened to us early on doing this a couple times. Just you know what? I give him a call. I can do it when I'm in my car, and just like it's not a problem. Yeah. I'm driving all the time, so I've got spare 30 to 50 minutes at least once a day.
Right. To have a conversation.
Yeah. But that's the time I use it if I got to be on my phone because then it's just hands-free and I can drive and I don't have to deal with anything else.
Well, how have you been?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've been busy working on projects and stuff?
Busy, tired. You?
Yeah, same. This I feel like a broken record now because although I'm doing well, there's more that's happening. So once I master one thing, there's okay, now do this. And so there's and then also do this and then make sure you keep on top of it. So there's so much that I'm doing that it's exciting for me to learn it all. Because it's as much as you can learn to do, it makes you invaluable as an employee. You know what I'm saying?
And going forward.
Yeah. But then when you add in this show, the Cinephiles show, the Outlaw Nation show, there's a lot of my week that is spent either working at Collider or working on these shows or researching.
I can imagine.
And so it's there are days where I get a 6 hours and I'm just like, oh, what do I do with this? You know what I'm saying? My weekends have become like gold. You know, like, well, what I got to make sure I make the most out of these 2 days, you know, and then if I'm watching college football, that's like 3.5, 4 hours of my day that's gone. Do I want to make that commitment? That's the thing that comes into my head, or do I want to lay on my couch and fall asleep? So
Not for college football, I don't.
you don't. I know.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have a team.
Right.
So I'll watch the really big games, and that's about it.
Right.
And even that, it's just like, if it's on, be like, I'm happy to watch it.
Right.
But I rarely, if ever, seek out a college football game anymore.
Yeah. You're an NBA guy. Which season starts in a couple of weeks?
Can't wait.
I can't believe it's already a couple of weeks away.
I know. Well, they moved the season up earlier now.
Did they really?
Yeah, to reduce back-to-backs and
Smart.
like all the extended games. It is smart if you really care about the player's health and longevity.
As opposed to the NFL, who doesn't care? At fucking all. Right? At fucking all.
Yeah, no.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Come at me, bro, but they don't give a shit about their players.
No, because the owners are concerned about the bottom dollar.
Yeah. But to be fair, there's only, 16 games? So whereas basketball has 82. So there's a lot more opportunities to make money in basketball than there is in football. But still.
Yeah, but
playing a Sunday game and then playing a Thursday game, that cannot be good for your body or your brain.
No.
Right?
It can't be good for anything.
No, right.
And there's not enough. Plus, the Thursday games are always just garbage.
They're almost always garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rams 49ers game, that was like an anomaly. Because most of the time, it's garbage.
Yeah, it is utter and complete just garbage.
Yeah.
Teams are tired, so offenses look terrible, and they're low-scoring games, and it's brutal.
Yeah. Because you're practicing in between those days, too. So it's like you're constantly in a state of exhaustion, almost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they get Monday off, but then I guess...
I don't know if you get Monday off on a short week, do you?
You have to. You got to have a day to just relax.
That's true, to recover.
Yeah. Just the beating those guys take.
Yeah.
You need at least a day.
Right.
Like, some of the hits, and then even to play 5-6 days later, just like, dude, you got to be in so much pain still.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Now, we're around the corner from the MLB playoffs. I got my Yanks shirt on. My Yankees play the Twins today. I'll be in the air. But thank God we're riding JetBlue, so I get to watch the game.
Oh, that's nice.
That'll be nice. Yeah, I got my Yanks hat in the backpack. I got my Yanks shirt on.
Just
I'm
going
ready.
Full Yankees.
I don't give a shit.
Dude, how can you do that being from
DC?
DC area.
We didn't have baseball growing up.
What are you talking about? You got the Orioles right there.
The Orioles. That's like telling me you should cheer for the you should cheer for a Jersey team when you live in New York. No, Baltimore is another fucking city, another fucking state. Why would I cheer for
So is New York.
Baltimore?
It's closer.
Yeah, well,
proximity-wise.
That's a good point.
There's the Nationals now. If you really want to do I support my hometown.
I do cheer for the Nationals, absolutely. But
if they played the Yankees, you're cheering for the Yankees.
Yeah, I would have to, because my allegiance is there since I was 10 years old, or earlier actually. Because the first game I ever watched was Reggie Jackson in the World Series. My dad and I, because that was back when you didn't have 35 fucking channels. You only had like 3.
Yeah.
And it was the baseball game of the week. And I remember my dad and we watched sports growing up, and it was like he indoctrinated me into sports, right? Like everything. And we would play out in the yard and shit. So like baseball was the one thing that, like, when he turned it on, I would watch with him and sit the whole entire game. Football, I would get distracted, and he never watched basketball. That's something I got into later. But baseball was the one. And when I saw Reggie Jackson in the pinstripes and the World Series, that's the one that got the hook in me. And I just love the way, like, I know this sounds stupid, but I'm a kid. I love the way the uniforms look, man. There was something about those pinstripes.
Oh, they're classic.
Regal, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I loved the mat on the helmet.
Yes.
That is one of the coolest, stupid little... It's such a tiny little thing, but everybody else's is shiny, and it just looks classier for some reason.
It makes all the difference.
It really does.
And so
I can't fault you for that. If you fall in love with a team when you're a young kid, there's no explanation for it.
And I went through the shitty times, you know, like with fucking Winfield and with all those guys, Craig Nettles.
Mattingly.
Donnie Baseball was constantly close, but never got to the world, never won the World Series. You know, I went through all those times when they were shit. Craig Randolph, like all those guys that were just tough. That they were good players, but we couldn't put the team around them. The shitty managers we had for such a long time. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I wonder if Dallas Green was one of our managers or something like that. Like, it was just
no idea.
shit.
Look, there was a new manager every year for a while there.
Yeah, that's right.
Steinbrenner would just go off and be like, boom, you're gone. New guy, boom, you're gone. And you're like, I don't even... Yeah, the Yankees were just a shit show when I was a kid.
I hated Steinbrenner for a long time because of that, because I felt like he was such a fickle owner. Whereas growing up as a Redskins fan, I had Jack and Cook, and Cook was not a fickle owner. It was Gibbs for years.
Yeah.
Then it was Pettibone, then it was all falling apart, and he tried like stuff like that. But it was Gibbs and Cook for years. So for me, that was what I liked. So I hated the fact that Martin was always such a. Steinbrenner was such a hothead. Yeah,
You can't just keep replacing coaches.
And he kept pissing off his top players, man.
Yeah.
He was in essence like, I don't want to say anything. But anyway, so it's nice to have them back into prominence like they were in the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, and to see a little bit of, and this is a scrappy team this year. Nobody expected us to make the playoffs. They thought it was going to be the Orioles or possibly the Rays, but we somehow got in there, and I hate this narrative that's going around now in these the underdog Twins are fighting the mighty Yankees. Fuck off. The Yankees are not that strong this year. We're lucky to be in the playoffs. We're a scrappy team, son.
You can't have it both ways.
I'm just saying.
You have to take that. They get to make cheap shots at you that you can buy whatever team because you can.
But we didn't this year.
I know. Doesn't matter.
I know.
Doesn't matter. You have to. There's certain nails in that cross you can't take off.
They've been in there too long.
Exactly. They've rusted in to the wood, and they're almost won now. And you're like, unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That's right. Are you big on your Cubs? Are you a Cubs?
I used to be. I stopped watching baseball probably like 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
So I watched through the playoffs at the NLCS. I almost cried.
Wow.
When they won, I'm genuinely.
Just
I almost cried.
There. Yeah, of course.
Because that's something I never thought. Now, when we got to the World Series, I told my wife Game 1 because she's a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And she was fretting every game. I was like, the Cubs are going to win. I know that for a fact.
Wow.
It was just getting here.
Right.
And even at the Game 7, that
was one of the stressful
phenomenal.
games.
One of the best games of all time. Even if you don't like baseball and you're an international listener of ours and you're like, what's so great? Watch that game, and that game determined the championship.
Yep. And
it's great. It's just great tension and drama. But I knew the whole time, I was like, Cubs are going to win this.
Yeah.
It was a matter of getting there that I was like, I never thought I'd see that.
Yeah.
The win is
you guys
cherry
look good.
on top.
You guys look good again. You found your stride near the end of the year. You guys look good right now. I mean, I don't know who's going to stop the Dodgers. They're like a fucking juggernaut. They found the formula again after that slump. And my Yanks, look, I'm just going to be happy if we beat the Twins. And then whatever series we get into, it'll be a blast. Like, I don't expect us to get to the series because Cleveland looks unstoppable, man. They're hungry and angry they lost last year.
You never know.
That's
you
right.
just got to make the playoffs in baseball. That's all you got to do. Whoever gets hot.
All right. Anyway, so this week, we thought, now we know everything that's happened recently and things that are going on, but we had picked this topic out, and Matt and I went back and forth
a couple months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago. And because The Foreigner is coming out with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
And we just thought it would be interesting to explore this topic of top 10 terrorist films, like films with a terrorist or a terrorism theme to them. And this, of course, with what happened in Orlando, in Vegas, we're not trying to be insensitive to the situation. It was just a topic we had picked
at
out.
All.
And this, we want, hopefully, if you're listening to us and you know someone there, or you experienced it, or you're very moved by this is going to be more of a playful, relaxed, fun podcast. So maybe this will take your mind off of it. Maybe this will bring you some peace, some fun, and you'll be able, maybe it's just a little something, a little respite from. And we get tweets every once in a while, Matt, from people who are like, "Thank God for listening to you guys through Harvey, listening to you guys through the hurricanes and
Somebody
stuff."
Somebody just said it in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico, like they were listening to us. So it's like if we can bring you any kind of joy or a little take your mind off what's happening. Then
that's
we've
all
done
we're
our
here to
job.
do.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about movies and enjoy ourselves and just take a break from the world.
Yeah.
And leave all that BS at the door.
Right.
I mean it's one of those of the timing.
Yeah.
Is obviously inopportune.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not like we're going to get into the minutia and start trying to play the blame game and dissect any
championing
problems.
these things.
Yeah.
Exactly,
This is not about any of that. So
Right.
just leave all that. This is just, we're talking about movies.
Yeah. We're just talking about movies.
We're just talking about movies.
Yeah. And some of these are fun movies too. So at least on my list. I don't know how morose you're going to get, but some of my list is kind of fun. So anyway, Matt, do you want to tell them how the show works?
I just like that you said, listen, I'm going to be a good guy. I don't know about you over there, you fucking prick. But me, I got a halo above my head on this side. Don't you worry, listener. I'm the good guy. There's bad cop sitting over there.
I'm glad you can see through me on that.
Yeah. I don't know how much subtlety there was. So Okay, then. All right. Well, once John and I set a topic, we go our separate ways and create individual top 10 lists. We show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 lists, we create the shows between the two of us.
Look at that.
It's the We Have Revealed. And whoever that was, please let me know on Twitter because that's where you told me.
Oh, brilliant. All right.
It's a fun list.
Okay.
There's, you know what's surprising about this? There aren't more amazing movies.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Oscar caliber, like tremendous. And there's a couple that I haven't seen.
Okay.
From I don't know if it'll be on your list, so we can talk about it later.
Okay.
There's a couple that I know I haven't seen and you should see, and one I tried to watch, but it just didn't work out in the time frame. But anyway, so at number 10, I've got the Peter Berg, The Kingdom.
Okay, that's it's not on my list.
It's not on your list?
No, that's the one with Jamie Foxx, right?
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Garner, I think Chris Cooper.
Okay. Of course he's in that.
Yeah.
He's in everything to do with the government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any kind of stern, authoritarian white character.
Call Chris Cooper.
He's always good at it. He's always good at it. Doesn't matter what it is. Boom, October Sky, he's the asshole dad.
Yep. The Breach with with him and Ryan Phillippe. Yeah, same thing.
Him
so
and
many.
Shit.
The Muppet movie, the new Muppets movie. He's so.
What is the Oscar one with Spacey and
American Beauty.
American Beauty.
Yeah,
he's my favorite part in that.
Yeah, he's great in that.
Yeah, he is great in that.
Mm-hmm.
So vulnerable, you don't see it coming. But anyway, within this, so it's like it starts off with there's a bombing in an oil, like a softball game for an oil company or something like that.
Okay,
but it's in Iraq, so federal government comes in and they need to do an investigation, but they also need to corroborate or work with, rather, the Saudi government, because I think that's where they are. Maybe it is. Maybe they're not in Iraq. I can't remember. But they need to work with the local government. It's just from that perspective of somebody transplanted over to that country, and then what happens if this scenario goes down?
Right.
And how do we react? And what's the game plan? It's like I haven't seen that aspect of this type of film.
Yeah.
So that's why I made my list. It's like, all right, it's something different. It's good. It's not a great film.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable, and it's a different take on this type of militaristic action.
Yeah.
And how we as a government and military force, and also federal agencies, I can't remember if the FBI or something equivalent to that sweeps in because it's an attack on Americans.
Right.
And it's military plus them. It's been a while. But I put this down. I was like, I remember enjoying it when I walked out. It wasn't great, but at the same time, like, it was just a different take, and I enjoyed it for that.
Right. Okay. What's your number 9?
My number 9, let's see if this is a punt or not.
Okay.
Air Force One.
Jesus Christ. Yes, it's a punt. How the fuck is it that low? What is wrong with
that's
you?
what we miss over the phone.
What is
because
wrong with you?
You dismiss me with your eyes a billion times harder than you did with your words. Your words were like you were trying to soft pedal. I saw your face, motherfucker. I saw it. You rolled your eyes and cast your glance down at the same time. It was impressive.
It's the curse of my life.
It was like, ugh. Just disgusted to your core.
It's the curse of my life. I can't hide my face. What's your number 8?
I guess that's the curse of everyone's life. Number 8 is the Ridley Scott Body of Lies.
Ooh, really? You like that one?
I did.
Okay.
Much to the
DiCaprio, right? Or is
it's
yes.
DiCaprio. It is Russell Crowe.
Oh, Russell Crowe. Okay.
Yeah, Russell Crowe with Mark Strong.
Oh, nice.
And Oscar Isaac.
Nice. Look at that pull.
Yeah.
Showdown pull. Love it.
Young him too.
Okay. Oh God, we're coming for you, Team Action. Yeah, go ahead. Anyway,
but it's from the vantage point of DiCaprio is the man on the ground running all these CIA covert ops,
right?
And then Crowe is kind of his handler, but the guy he's in with everybody and everybody knows who he is. So this is kind of his special operative out in the field.
Okay,
and they have to, they're chasing the equivalent of Osama bin Laden.
Right.
And they're going after him. I think it's Al Salim or something along those lines is the name of the character. But they're going after him, trying to track down what we may have to do as Americans out there trying to gain this type of intelligence and what this covert action looks like when it is just kind of a, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. One kind of, he works with our government in embassies over there, but at the same time, he is allowed to do whatever he really wants. He has the backing of the U.S. government through the proxy of Russell Crowe.
Okay.
And then his relationship with Mark Strong is really, because Mark Strong pulls off Middle Eastern. He pulls off Jordanian, because I I don't know many Jordanians. I think I know one or two that are American Jordanian.
Right.
Like they're first generation having lived here. So I don't know how good that accent is, but it seems believable as all hell. And plus, Mark Strong was always good when he's just the authority figure.
Yes.
He has such a commanding, calm voice. To see him dispassionately looking over torture.
Yes.
Like at one point, it's him and DiCaprio, and they're punishing, quote unquote, a guy that works with them. And DiCaprio doesn't want to watch, and he's like, "You must watch." Like this kind of like, no. And DiCaprio kind of begrudgingly looks right back at it, and you hear the way he's just so commanding in this calm.
Yeah,
is always been impressive. I think the first thing I saw him in was Rock and Rolla. Maybe
Rock and Rolla was the first one you saw him in.
There might have been something else before that, but I don't know. I can't pull it off the top of my head.
Okay.
No, there had to be something. Maybe that was I might have seen Rock and Rolla because I knew he was the lead in it.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the leads in it, right? He's guy.
One of the leads, but he was the biggest on the poster, kind of thing. You know what I mean? He may share the screen as much as two other guys on it.
Yeah. What's his face? Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, so within this movie, it's that. So it's like it's a different form of our operations and the interactions that we have.
Right.
If we I don't know how accurate this is.
Yeah.
Seems pretty realistic to me on some level. I mean, some of it is really impressive because DiCaprio and Oscar Isaac are both dead shots at certain points.
Yes.
And you're like, that's pretty impressive. It only took you that many bullets and you got all your targets pretty perfectly. All right. But at the same time, it wasn't so outlandish that I was calling bullshit.
Yes.
It was the right amount of movie magic.
Oh, good. Okay.
I like this movie. I know that is the contrarian opinion because I think most people are just like, meh.
Yeah. It felt like one of those meh Ridley Scott films. So I didn't.
For whatever reason, I just fuck you people. I like that. I'm not going to say it should get an Oscar, but I think it was a good movie.
That's right, Spider. Don't let anyone tell you that shit, Spider.
Yeah, exactly. And then you shoot Spider's foot.
That was your number 8.
That was my number 8. What you got?
So my number 10 is A Mighty Heart. Did you ever see that?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's a fantastic film with Angelina Jolie. It is about Daniel Pearl, the reporter that was beheaded by these, and she is incredible in this film, portraying his wife, who is leading this campaign to find out what happened to him because they were there, and he was kidnapped, and who plays it? It's not Bradley Cooper. I forget the actor's name who plays Daniel Pearl in the movie, but you see his story backwards in flashbacks about how he does what he's doing through communications with her, and so you follow his story about how he is investigating the story, and he's being led into this situation because he thinks he's going to have access to I forget what the terrorist group was, but he's going to have access to them and be able to interview them, right? And it's all a setup so that he can be kidnapped and beheaded as a journalist. And the video is available somewhere, if you go into the dark web or whatever, there is a video.
I'm sure you can find it.
I accidentally found it I don't want to say accidentally, but I typed in something and I started to watch 10 seconds of it, and I lost my fucking mind and turned it off because I was just, it's horrific. And so it's based on her book that she wrote about her journey of trying to find him and what happened, and she's fantastic in it. And Archie Punjabi is the first time I ever saw her, the actress from Good Wife, the Indian actress.
Sure.
Yeah. First time I ever saw her, and she's gorgeous in everything she does, and she's great as an actress. And so it was it's a really powerful little movie. And I think she got nominated for Best Actress for it. I'm
sure she had a run there great. Where it kind of didn't matter what she was putting out. She was in the conversation.
Yeah. And so if you haven't seen this, I would recommend you see this. Whatever your issues are with Angelina Jolie, this is some of her best work as an actress. And the reaction moment when she finds out what happens to her husband, oh man, it's one of the most powerful moments as an actress I've ever seen her do. All right, so my number 9, and this may be ironically a punt for you, is Patriot Games.
A little bit of a pump, but nothing serious.
All right, cool. Then my number 8 is
what you got?
Under Siege.
Oh, my friend, that is a punt. That is a punt. Notice that I didn't get frustrated with you. Yes. I just know the fun we are going to have. That's the thing.
Fair enough. All right.
That was your 8?
That was my 8. So what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Patriot Games.
Oh, okay. So a little bit of a punt. All right, sir, let's talk about it.
It's good. We talked about it a little bit last week.
We did. We did.
On the Harrison Ford with Adam and Cody. Thank you, gentlemen, for having come on.
That was very nice of them to come on and totally fuck up the list, but yes.
Listen, everybody's got an opinion.
How do you not have The Fugitive? Anyway.
Everybody's got an opinion.
That's true.
Doesn't make their opinion right in my eyes, but everybody's got an opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You love 42 more than a bunch of other classics.
To
each their own.
All right.
To each their own.
I just barely put my head back together to do this show, so I'm recovering from that episode. So anyway.
That's what happens when you roll the dice with guests.
I love those guys, though.
You don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's true. All right, so talk to me about it.
So Pager Games.
Yes.
So it's Harrison Ford at his Jack Ryan-y best.
Yes.
It is dealing with the IRA.
Yes.
Back in the early 90s when they were still, bombing and doing all the things the IRA is known for. And if you don't know anything about them, then go look them up.
Yeah.
There's no need to talk about, the atrocities they wrought.
Yes.
So they get sucked into the world, or Jack Ryan kind of gets sucked into their world. They cross paths.
Yes.
It's one of those of now it's a cat and mouse game, and they're hunting him as much as he is hunting them.
Yeah.
It's a back and forth, and who's going to get who first kind of thing.
Right.
But it culminates, instead of the huge action pieces, which are kind of the hallmark of this series, it culminates in a very intimate action sequence at like a Nantucket-ish, I want to say, type of house. You know what I mean? Because the ocean's out on the...
Right.
But it seems like, Rhode Island or Connecticut or Martha's Vineyard or something like that to me.
Like that.
Yeah.
Someplace rich. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, isn't it night vision? They they cut the electricity and they go in with night vision, which always makes it even a little bit creepier because now one side is operating from a tremendous deficit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that's not fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? when it's against you, just like, well, what are you, an asshole? But at the same time, if you had it, you'd be like, well, goddamn right, I got these things.
Yeah.
But I like it for that because the terror of that type of moment seems more real and palpable to me as opposed to something like The Sum of All Fears.
Right.
Where it's a huge cataclysmic event.
Yeah.
And that's more hypothetical, whereas someone breaking into my house with machine guns and night vision seems more realistic.
Yeah, and it's got a darkness to it at the beginning. Like it's a lot of hardcore, they're like really killing people and explode. Like,
the explosions with car bombs and stuff.
It's real shit. And I love that shot of Harrison running, pointing the finger as he runs. That's one of the greatest iconic moments of Harrison Ford in any movie. And it's so great.
Unlike a lot of other films, as dumb as this is, when something blows up behind him, I believe it because his character never takes the cartoonish 75-foot. They go flying into the air. It's always like, no, that's probably what an explosion would do.
Right.
I remember when I learned
Tom Cruise running with the force of it blowing him against the car.
Yeah, exactly. Where he gets
all that.
thrust and his arms and legs are now splayed out behind him because, the sonic wave is so strong that it's just pushing him out. The pressure from the explosion is so strong, it's just launching him to safety. They're like, that's not exactly how that works.
Jack
but
Ryan doesn't need to do that bullshit.
No. Blows up and he kind of like falls down. He stumbles down.
Yes, he does.
It's not graceful.
No.
Like it looks believable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I enjoy the acting throughout the whole film. It's probably my favorite one of his Jack. I don't really like. How can I say this correctly? Like, I don't enjoy the Jack Ryan, Harrison Ford movies as much. I feel they're kind of distant for me. I don't connect to them like I do Hunt for Red October. And even Sum of All Fears a little bit I enjoy because I kind of enjoy a younger Jack Ryan kind of exploring the situation. With Harrison, he's more lived in the world. And so they're good movies. They are good movies. Undeniable to me, they're good movies. I just can't connect to them as much as I enjoy Sum of All Fears or Hunt for Red October. And that's on me. That's not on the movie. That's on me.
Well, I mean, Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
The whole movie, that sentiment you're talking about, I think really applies to that movie.
That's the drug one, right?
Yeah, the drug one, but he's also feuding within the CIA in that one.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah. And going back, and then one guy's got the president's signature on a piece of paper, and that says "get out of jail free" card or something. But it's the back and forth there, and I think that one is more akin to what you're talking about.
Yes.
This one just seems more personal. You get to know the family more.
Right. You get the Richard Harris stuff with Sean Bean. Like, there's just more personal on both sides. It seems like more personal on both sides.
Yeah.
All right, that was your number 7. And what's your number 6?
My number 6 is, let's see if this is a punt, True Lies.
Oh, shit.
Not on your list?
That's on my honorable mentions.
Really? That's on your honorable mentions?
I feel it's a bit racist, so I left it off. But go ahead. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit racist. There is no bit about it. When you watch it and be like, they're going for some racism there.
Yes.
It was, at that point, like, I guess we hadn't come to it. They were still cartoonish racists.
Yeah, they were kind of.
So whenever that's the case, like look back at World War II propaganda.
Yeah, true.
When you don't know your enemy, like what we did to the Japanese.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know the Japanese, so we just made up some racist as all hell shit.
Yeah.
And just put it out into the public.
It's terrible. You watch those Looney Tunes cartoons or the Disney stuff.
Disney.
Oof. Or even Mickey Rooney up into Breakfast at Tiffany's. We were like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, I've still never watched Breakfast at Tiffany's because of that.
Nor should you ever, man.
Oh my God, that is so racist.
I feel like, and listen, you can come at me if you want. Unless you're female or gay, I don't understand why you like that movie. Like, I just don't get. I saw it and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I never want to see it.
No. When a guy comes out is like looking over a banister at a shot from below, is like, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Get me the fuck out of here. Get me the fuck out of here.
How is this? Honestly, I think it's just because like the picture of her is so now it's iconoclastic.
Absolutely.
But that carries on.
Yes.
And the name Breakfast at Tiffany's, the fact that Tiffany still exists and it's this high end, like I think it lives on more there in like the imagination, the way Marilyn Monroe does.
Right. Holly Golightly.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're Holly Golightly, and they're not. So
but in True Lies, like I don't think it's so. They don't make the enemy stupid. They don't make
true.
but they do paint him as they're only this. Every person you meet of this ilk is pissed off, and they have a singular motivation to kill every American they come into contact with.
Right.
And there is no compassion or humanity or like their compass is set on north of fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it does not deviate and be like, I'm sorry, no person is like that.
Yeah.
And so the motivations of that character are inherently going to be flawed.
Yeah.
And racist.
Yes.
And racist.
Well, it's also a weird movie because Schwarzenegger, like, Jamie Lee Curtis pays for what exactly? Like she gets put through so much shit because Schwarzenegger finally decides at the end, oh yeah, maybe I should pay attention to my wife, like a dumbass because he's been away from her. So she has this dalliance that doesn't even consummate the dalliance with Bill Paxton, and all of a sudden Schwarzenegger has to like tricks her into showing up to the hotel and dancing around off the pole. All of it is just really kind of, it's a 90s sensibility movie that I don't think holds it. Like I try to watch it and I'm cringe every time I watch it, but I still put it on honorable mentions because it is Schwarzenegger, like his last gasp as a lead actor, and it's a decent movie. It's a good movie. You can argue it's a good movie, but like some of the elements to it now bother me. So I just go, it's just not my thing anymore.
See, I take I don't know. In that instance, like I always just took it as this is an action movie, and this is growth in a character, the lead character, emotional growth in a lead character in a Schwarzenegger film.
Yeah.
Let's accept the fact that he signed on and was like, I'm ready to make this type of film.
Right.
Which enabled him to make things like Maggie today.
Yeah, Maggie's
a very
great.
vulnerable
I loved Maggie.
character. Mm-hmm. I liked it. Mm-hmm. I liked him a lot in it. I wanted something more from the other side of the story.
I don't disagree with you. I think if it had that extra bit you're talking about, it actually could have been something that
it could have been amazing.
Yeah.
It could have been amazing because I've never seen someone so protective.
Yeah.
And so, like, he is this big hulking mass, but at the same time, his heart could melt if you gave him a flower.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And I bought that to a degree that if you told me as a kid that he had this kind of range, you'd be like, well, okay.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Sure. So, look, it all builds the things. I think you got to, because he's worked for so long, I can appreciate the facets and the changes that he made.
Yeah.
And I grew up with them, for Christ's sake. So in this one, it's just like, hey, listen, this is the first time he ever did this with a character, where the character grew in an action film.
Yeah.
But at the same time, given it was made for the summer, so it wasn't made to stand up to, scrutiny on some level.
Sure.
It was made to make money and have a good time.
That's right.
Things blow up.
Fair.
Tom Arnold was great in it.
Yeah, like I said, I totally get why people love it. It's just.
I think if you have to judge it based on its merits, and its merits are flawed.
Okay, fair enough. That's great. I like that. I want that on the poster.
Where do I get the credit from that blurb?
On the 4K.
From Top 10 Podcast or...
That's how it worked, Top 10 Podcast. All right, so then my number 7 is The Crying Game.
Interesting.
Yeah. because
I guess I don't think of that as a terrorist film.
well, the whole thing is about him being a terrorist. And right at the beginning with Forrest Whitaker, and he gets involved in this situation and then has to progress through the film.
You're not wrong.
And he's constantly keeping the other terrorists from getting close to that woman because fuck off. I don't know. I don't want to ruin it, but
I mean, it was part of the cultural, like, the lexicon.
okay, if you haven't seen it, there's a twist in the film.
Yeah.
I have to get better at this. There's a twist in the film where someone you think is something is not that something, and he's been protecting that something for quite some time because that something witnessed or is related to someone who witnessed who was a prisoner of the IRA, and when they were doing the stuff.
Okay.
But these people, the IRA want to kill this person, and Stephen Ray spends the whole movie defending this person or trying to protect this person from these terrorists killing her/him, whatever. So I don't care. Anyway, so that's the situation of the film. So to me, it still has that terrorist vibe to it the whole time. Although there is a romance here, the whole time he is trying to elude his former friends from taking out their vengeance on her or him, and I think it's a good film in that way, and I enjoy the film for that reason.
See, I took it for it, so I only saw it like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay,
I knew the twist
right,
long before,
right,
and I guess I viewed it because I knew the twist. I was so fixated upon that, so I viewed it as a love story.
Gotcha. I understand that.
It is, but you're right. Yeah, given the motivations and who the characters are and everything like that, yeah, it works for this. I guess I just view it solely in my head as like it's a love story.
Well, I would agree with you if the terrorists disappear after the first 20 minutes. Like if they disappeared.
I'm not fighting you. It'll make the list.
Okay.
It never even occurred to me because I just think of that as like it's a take on a love film.
Right. That's fair. So then my number 6 is Munich.
Slight punt.
Okay. All right, fine. So what's your number 5?
Actually, well, we might as well. I'm sorry. It was my number 5.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I looked up and I thought it was one higher than that.
What a film.
What? Yeah.
I'm growing to appreciate it more as I get older.
I think because it's a true story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much from the Mossad side is how spot on that is, but I would imagine it's roughly approximate to what happened.
Yeah. And all the actors are now like of prominence now. And so I can go back and watch this film and really appreciate their work as they're building as actors of some kind of renown. You know, you have Ciarán Hinds, you have Daniel Craig, you have what's his name? Eric Bana, and you have all these actors that are in this film that are really this interest. And you have the older Israeli guys. Like all of it was it's a great combination of actors in this process trying to find out who committed these attacks at the Munich Olympics in 1972,
and then hunting them down,
right, with no quarter given.
No.
Right? And it's fascinating because they're all brought together. They're not friends or they haven't worked together as a team before.
No.
They're brought together from different skill sets that they have to work together to get to the ultimate goal, which is to find out and take out all these terrorists who killed the Olympic athletes.
Yeah, the Olympic athletes
in Munich.
In Munich, yeah. Just a brutal. Mm-hmm. Like I think I was watching, I can't remember which Olympics. Maybe it was Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they started talking about that, and I didn't know about the story until then. Oh,
really?
Or maybe it was in '92 in Barcelona. Mm-hmm. But it was somewhere around there, and it was more than likely it wasn't on NBC. It was on somebody else talking about other stories related to the Olympics.
Right.
And they showed the old footage from that night, and it's a crazy story.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's such a great idea for a movie because you do have all these questions of, well, what happened after that?
Right.
What's the aftermath of an event, a singular event like that?
Yeah.
Because it's never,
Yeah.
that is a standalone. That is a very specific case.
Right.
And for Spielberg to attack something like this.
Yeah, really.
Because the morality in this is gray.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, eye for an eye, the whole world will be blind. Mm-hmm. And usually, like with Schindler's List, there's a clear morality.
Yes.
Whenever he delves into this, usually in his movies, there's a clear morality.
Yep.
And within this, it's just like, I understand why everybody did what they did, but at the same time, that doesn't mean your actions were correct.
Right.
I'm not saying they're incorrect because I wasn't there, I wasn't alive.
Right.
I can't, go back and tell you what was right and what was wrong. But at the same time, it's just like, it doesn't seem like it's right.
Yeah.
Just to go out and, calculate your own according justice. So you're judge, jury, and executioner before anything else steps in.
Yeah.
But it was a different time.
Well, and also to kind of take your point a little bit, Matt, I didn't know this story. I didn't know this story. I knew about the terrorism stuff. Like that was because I grew up through the 70s, so I wasn't aware of what had happened in 72 or 74. I forget what the exact year is that this occurred. Maybe it's even 76, but I wasn't aware of it necessarily until the 80s, right?
And then 84, 80, 76, 72, one of the two, 72, 76.
So it's probably, I think it's 72. I think it's 72.
I think you're right.
And so I wasn't aware of this until later in the 80s. And when all this kind of stuff, you being aware of like terrorism and whatever. And so I remember reading the story and whatever, but I didn't know that there was this side of it. They went after them and all this kind of jazz. So it's a fantastic film to explore if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that information basically had to be declassified.
Yeah, right.
Before we could find out that story.
Good call. That's right.
Because if you do it in the first 10 to 15 years, it's too inflammatory.
Yes.
And you'll get retribution. There'll be an action coming back at you, and then it doesn't end.
Yeah.
That's why you keep the secret.
Right.
Well, that's one of the reasons you keep the secret.
Yeah, exactly.
There are numerous, but that is one of them.
All right. So then my number 5. That was your number 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then my number 5 is Syriana.
We're going to punt.
Ooh.
We're going to punt.
That's awesome. Okay.
What's because of you, I went back and watched this like a year ago.
Did you really?
A year and a half ago,
wow.
yeah. And I was like, you know what? I like this movie way more than I thought.
Brings a tear to my eye. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I remember liking it, but I think there were so many that came out at that time.
Yes, there were.
They were just kind of like it bled into the others. Mm-hmm. And now going back and just appreciating. Okay, we'll talk about it.
All right.
We'll talk about it when we get to it.
I'm not making you talk about it.
I know,
Man,
but I almost jumped in. Number 4, this might not be on your list.
All right.
This might not be on your list. It's my number 4.
All right.
Is The Rock.
What is wrong with you?
That is a terrorist film. They are domestic terrorists. They are. Once they go rogue,
I don't disagree with you.
They take the hostages, and then they make demands of the American government.
They do.
That makes you a terrorist.
That's a fair point. They're domestic terrorists.
They are domestic terrorists.
You're right. And listen, I have it on my honorable mentions way down as like maybe I can talk myself into it.
You mean your cardinal sin omissions? That's the list it should be on. Sure. There should be a scarlet letter that you just wear around.
Just an O.
Just a red silhouette of Connery's face.
I think it has to be Nick Cage holding both the flares up going, ah!
Oh, that is great.
Just right on my heart.
Great. Oh, so is it basically just you? But we can tell it's you because like the hat is on. It's from behind,
exactly.
So you can't really tell. So it's just the hat.
I got the faux hawk on. Yeah,
that's not a problem. That's fine. Then I'll be Connery when he's like, "Welcome to the Rock."
Do it.
Trust me, it's a way worse T-shirt sale. Yeah. Way worse. But we can have Rock complimentary.
Somebody put us on the poster. Someone else meme us on the poster.
Well, who's in the 3 hole? Because that's Ed Harris.
It's Ed Harris, right?
Yeah.
Who would be a good Ed Harris to us?
I don't know.
Who's a grizzled old vet? You know what? Ellis would be perfect. Mark Ellis would be perfect.
Really? What does he have to do with top 10, though?
Maybe
Why are we just throwing him on the... Does he love The Rock?
Well, we're on their podcast channel, so I think...
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Sure.
Or maybe Christian.
That's as good a reason as any.
But I could see Ellis being goofy about it, so that'd be fun. Anyway, all right, so... The Rock, Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage. Bunch of other character actors. Ed Harris, yeah.
Character actors galore.
Yes.
Tons of people, and you're like, oh my God, oh, look at that. Oh, I know that guy.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay in his second film.
Yeah, man.
Excellent.
People love this film.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
You are, clearly.
I am one of those people.
Could be this high on your list.
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
For it's a flawed idea.
Yes.
From conception to like I can't believe this got through, and at the same time they made this action masterpiece.
Yeah.
That is pure fun.
Yes.
That is unadulterated. I buy it has aspects of like National Treasure to come for later for Cage.
Yes.
In that they got to break into Alcatraz. So Connery's got to do this cockamamie. Like who set up? I love that the conversation was how can we basically do what they did in Galaxy Quest? Mm-hmm. Like why are the middle of these ships always so complicated?
Right.
To why is this furnace? Why is it just intermittently fire? How is that effective for a furnace at all to expel heat? You're supposed to trap heat and take that heat and put it elsewhere. No. This furnace pushes the heat out. That's how furnaces work.
This is a
and
rare
it just
furnace.
fires like a fucking piston engine or something. It's so ridiculous. And he's got it timed out, and he rolls through, and it's built on a former gold mine from prospectors.
Yeah.
So there's all those tunnels underneath, but they use it to great action effect. It's just the most obvious action sequence, and at the same time, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's like Temple of Doom when they're in the carts.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the same type of vibe of you can only really do one thing in this scene, so might as well do it and have as much fun as you possibly can.
Right.
Because it's such a fun idea.
Go to the nth degree with it. Yeah.
Yeah, do it up. Do it up. I'm going to take pleasure in gutting you, boy. Yes, I am. And that VX poison gas is a real thing.
Right.
That is a real thing. And to think like, oh my God, they stumbled upon it. And then they figured out how truly potent and lethal this is, and decided to weaponize it because that's what we do as people.
Of course.
Oh my God, that is brutal, and we have stockpiles of that. That seems like a really good idea.
It's unsettling as hell.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and that's only I don't even know how many others there are.
Yeah, there are probably a few.
A few is minimizing. That's the most conservative estimate I think I've ever heard of anything of all time. But in this, So a friend of mine is he's Cage's cousin.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I think first cousin.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. It was something I heard for years, and I didn't believe it because he never brought it up.
Right.
Everybody else already knew it, so they didn't ever bring it up. And then I knew him for a couple of years, and one of my friends was peppering jokes about him, like the fact that he hadn't seen a couple movies. And I was like, "So that shit is true?" We were friends at that point, so I could just ask him. And he's like, "Yeah, it's true." Wow. And but he's never seen The Rock. And I was like, dude, it's part. Yeah, I was like, dude, that's one of your uncle's best movies.
Wow,
you have to see that movie. And the guy loves movies.
Wow,
just for some reason, he just never saw it.
Dude, we're one step away from getting Nicolas Cage on the top 10 show. I love this idea.
Oh, I don't think that's possible.
We should do the top 10 Nicolas Cage films with Nicolas Cage.
I'm happy to do it. I'm not saying that.
Come on.
I don't. I doubt they talk.
That would be. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Damn it.
Do you think Nick Cage talks to many real people?
No, but I think it would be great if we could talk him into the top 10 show and do the top 10 Nicolas Cage films with Nicolas Cage. That would put us on the map.
Oh, without a doubt. It's never going to happen. I'm pretty sure. He may be a second cousin, but I believe he's a first cousin. And I don't believe they talk.
That's not a surprise. He's an interesting cat.
So the chances of that are as good as we should just go stand on Hollywood Boulevard with a sign that says, "Hey, Nick Cage, you should really be on our podcast." Because I think we have as good a shot that way.
Fair. That's fair.
And he seems the type of guy that would cruise Hollywood Boulevard.
You're right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or
that's
at least
why
Vegas.
I chose it. I was like, man,
At least Vegas. That whole thing with him and Vince Neil. I saw that video on TMZ. I think it was Vince Neil, one of those guys. He's trying to stop him from hitting that dude. It was brilliant.
At this point, you could put out a video, like tell me about, there's this video of Nick Cage, and I don't have to see it. I will believe you.
That's right. When Simmons says the Mike Tyson zone, when you just believe everything's possible.
Nick Cage at this point is just like, yeah. He was shadowboxing with an orangutan.
I buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had banana sundaes together. And you're like, fuck yeah.
Totally buy it.
Of course they did.
Who else would?
Of course they did. Did they do it at his castle? Because I believe that.
Did they have the elephant bones there? All right. So
anyway, so if you haven't seen The Rock and you like fun action films, this is when I thought Michael Bay had a real future with me. We did not. We did not have much of a future together. But I saw potential. It's a relationship that, was flawed from the get-go, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, well. All right. That was your number 4?
That was my number 4.
All right, so my number 4 is Zero Dark 30.
Punt.
Wow! Motherfucker, this is going to be fun. All right, what's your number 3 then?
And I don't even know what you have at your top of your list.
Oh, you'll see. What's your number 3 then?
My number 3 is our punt from way before.
Okay.
Which is the gem masterpiece of Under Siege.
Under Siege, your number 3?
Yes.
This is brilliant.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Is terrorists taking over what is a soon-to-be retired battleship.
Yes.
And they're there to steal munitions, ordnance, and basically get anything that goes boom, they're trying to get their hands on.
Yes.
And only one man can stop them.
Yeah, the cook.
Casey Ryback. It's got
Steven Seagal.
You got Gary Busey.
Yes.
When he could still give you a hell of a Gary Busey performance. And Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Right before Fugitive, right before, a bunch of other amazing films.
Yes.
Absolutely crushing it. I believe this because he shows up and he's got this, leather jacket on that's all studded.
Yes.
And it seems like a ridiculous character. And the more you're around him, you're like, I believe this 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Busey is playing the guy that would easily turn heel.
Yes.
Just quickly about faces, to use the parlance.
Yeah.
On his former comrades.
Yeah.
And is instantly willing to sell them out to Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
And Tommy Lee Jones is not going to do good things.
No.
As much as he would like to believe. And the whole time he is threatening to fire off one of these, missiles right now.
Yeah.
I will gladly take out. Him down there when he's... What is he singing to himself? And
Yes.
He's down in that little control room, and everybody else is dead. And guess what? If I gotta die, I'm at least gonna do this before I go.
Right.
And then Seagal shows up, and Casey Ryback's not having that, my friend. He's
ain't
not
playing
having
with
that.
it.
I love it though. All the old veterans.
Yeah.
Hey, I need you to run the guns and all that stuff. They got to shoot starburst to gauge where he is.
Yeah.
And then they can line it up. It's the same thing they did in Battleship to a much worse degree.
It's brilliant.
I think just grabbing the old guys and be like, hell, I believe they could do it. If only like a 3-man crew could do something that could take 10 people, 12 people.
Right.
I believe it's these 3 KG veterans. I love this movie.
It's a fun ass movie. I mean, it's back when Tommy Lee Jones was really putting his footprint on film. Because this is right around the time of The Fugitive, right around the time of Batman Returns after that, or Batman Forever rather. And so these are fun parts that he's playing at this time, and this is definitely one of them. And every one of these, I say this all the time, every one of these like action stars from the 80s and 90s, they had one good film. They had one really actually decent film that crossed over into mainstream audiences from their because like with Van Damme, it's Time Cop. With Seagal, it's Under Siege, and these are the legitimate.
You won't give Van Damme any others?
No, I saw every film in the theater from Van Damme up until The Quest. The Quest that's when I was done. I was The Quest. I'm out. But I saw everything else. I saw what was the Twins one, whatever the hell the name of that one is.
Double Impact.
I saw Lionheart.
Gem Masterpiece Double Impact.
That's a
Lionheart's okay.
Right, it's okay. It's the same formula. I saw obviously Bloodsport.
You saw that in the theater? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm envious of that.
Yeah, I saw all of these things because I was so excited to see what this guy could do. And then what Sudden Death I saw in the theater, which has Powers Booth. And so all those. And the same thing with Seagal. I saw everyone that's Marked for Death. I took 6 dudes in the military. We were in AIT training down in Georgia. We had a weekend off, and I drove I snuck off base, took a bus all the way home to Virginia, which you're not allowed to go. I think you're not allowed to leave within an hour of the base.
Okay.
And I snuck because they never approved it. So I snuck off, had people cover for me, and I took the bus all the way back up to Virginia, got my car, drove it back down from Virginia to Georgia, and had it clandestine in the parking lot of the base the whole time while I was there in Augusta at Fort Gordon. And so on the weekends, I would take the dudes and we would go to the fucking mall, walk around the mall, or go someplace in Savannah, or go drinking.
Okay.
So that's why I got the car, so that I could independence is a big thing for me, man. Being able to leave or go anytime I want, it's really fucking important to me, man. So anyway, I took the guys and we went to fucking see Marked for Death. That awesome Jamaican movie. So because I had seen Above the Law, I'd seen all these other ones, but this is the one that I really enjoy from him a lot because he is still doing his Seagal shit, but he's kind of. But I think he felt he had to go to the next level because Tommy Lee Jones is really fucking bringing it as the villain, and he really does.
Oh yeah, this is without a doubt, I think Seagal's best work.
Yes,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I can't even think another that challenges in my mind. There are at that point, after that, I liked him for a while. So I whichever one where he was up in Alaska fighting Michael Caine.
Oh yeah,
on the oil fields.
Shit.
But I enjoyed that because I was in a Seagal state of mind.
On Deadly Ground.
On Deadly Ground.
Yeah.
It is not a good movie.
No, it's not a good movie.
It is not a good movie. But at that point, I was just like, you know what? I like Seagal.
Right.
So it's fine.
Right.
But this was easily his best. And Tommy Lee Jones, he does. I think that's probably a great reason as to why this could be his best.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he saw what Tommy Lee Jones was doing over on the side, and it's like, well, Jesus, this guy is forcing me. Because before he was always it was no names around him.
Right.
and he was technically the name. And in this one, he's got Busey as well.
Yeah, Gary Busey.
He'd already been nominated for an Academy Award.
Sure.
So you're actually playing with some guys that have genuine talent.
Yep.
So it forced him. And then what? Erica
Eleniak.
Wow.
It's one of the hottest scenes ever, man. When she jumps out of that cake, it's one of the best set of boobs I've ever seen on screen in my entire life. I say that with no shame. All right, that's your number 3?
That was my number 3.
Oh, so my number 3 is, and this is controversial, so if we have to strike it, I respect it. The Dark Knight.
That's not a...
That's not a terrorist film?
No.
He's trying to blow up Gotham?
True, but it's a villain in this fictitious world.
All right, fine.
It's...
All right, I'll take it off.
I know what you mean.
I had a backup.
I know what you mean, but it's just like, how you can't do that, because then that means all more like any comic book movie, you could say the aliens are terrorists, and you're like...
Fine. All right. Then
but...
I'll take it out then.
What do you got
Here's
instead?
my backup. Patriots Day. The Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, it's fucking good,
I got a
dude.
buddy in it too, and I haven't seen it
Dude,
yet.
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how good it is. I was surprised how good it was because some of the buzz from the people who actually lived through it in Boston, they're really mad at this film because Wahlberg doesn't exist in real life. His character is an amalgamation of a number of people, and he happens to show up at all these things that happened that day and be one of the main people every single time.
Okay.
And there's that angered a lot of people from Boston, and I hear stronger the Jake Gyllenhaal one is even better, the one that's
that one's based on a true story as far as I know.
Exactly. So, and obviously Patriots Day is as well because it's about the marathon bombing.
Yeah, it's about the day itself.
Right.
This guy just happens to be the
Yeah.
how the story progresses.
Exactly. And what I like about the film is it's almost like a faux documentary because you're following along the timeline of everything that's happening. And you have this, Wahlberg does a fantastic job with Michelle Monaghan as his wife, and he's like trying to figure out all this stuff. And when Wahlberg is given the right material, I actually thoroughly enjoy him on film. Like when he's given the right material, he is a fun guy to watch. When he's in shit, you can tell he's playing down to the shit. But like when he's in good stuff, he is really interesting to watch.
Couldn't believe how much I enjoyed Event Horizon.
Or Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater Horizon.
Right.
Not Event Horizon.
Yeah.
He was excellent in that. You didn't see he flashed up in one of the parallel dimension
when he was
worlds.
torturing someone, taking the skin off.
Was that Mark Wahlberg? Oh, shit. And then just went away as quickly.
I'm going to flay his skin.
Yeah, Deepwater. I thought that was going to be a nothing film. One day I was bored, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh, that was so good.
I can't believe how much people don't talk about that movie because it is him and Peter Berg have this thing with that Lone Survivor. They work well together. That is my favorite collaboration they've ever done. Deepwater Horizon is fucking great. And if you haven't seen it, give it a shot. You will enjoy it.
That's all you got to do. Just give it a shot.
Yeah, yeah.
You already know what the story is, so it's just like okay, how did this happen? Like, what was it like to be there?
Right, exactly.
It was nuts.
Yeah, and Patriots Day is so good in the progression of with Wahlberg going through this whole thing, and then you see him and you have who's the guy? J.K. Simmons is in this thing. So many people are in this thing as it progresses, as they're chasing down these two brothers who committed the bombing at the Boston Marathon.
It's my buddy Jimmy. He's the Asian guy on Silicon Valley.
Okay.
How big's his part in this?
Jesus, I don't remember. He might be one of the cops, so I don't remember. Or the policeman, rather. I don't know. I don't remember what his part is, actually. Oh, no!
I think he got a poster.
No, he is. He is because he is one of the guys that was friends with the younger brother at the college. And they had so, yes, he's in it a lot. He's in it a lot because they go back and interrogate him, and they're trying to hide stuff because they're afraid they're going to be implicated because they had no idea this guy was doing this shit. And so they hesitate about telling the cops about this until the cops come knocking on the door, like raid their fucking dorm room and put them down on the ground and handcuff them and then ask them questions and shit. And so, yes, he's in it. I remember that. So it's just what the film does not let you go from the beginning all the way to the end. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I respect people from Boston who are upset about the film. I respect that completely. I don't live in Boston. I didn't experience it. So I can't bring that kind of anger towards the film. But watching it from an outsider's perspective, I really enjoy the film. So that's why I had it as a backup.
Okay.
All right, what's your number 2?
And to put it at 3 as your backup.
I did. I had a feeling you were going to say no. So, all right. I had a
so
feeling.
My number 2, you mean?
Yeah.
My number 2 is a punt from you earlier, which is Syriana.
Okay, let's talk about it. Oh, such a good film.
It really is.
It's Clooney's best work, bar none.
From from acting, I think it's in the discussion. I'd have to sit down and think about it, but his vulnerability as this guy that's kind of hard in country. he's out there. He is the front lines of a lot of different intelligence operations that we would run. And then eventually what that does to you, your humanity, your perspective.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of the coin on some realm with the Matt Damon and the financial aspects.
Yeah.
What's the other motivation in this world?
Right.
The future, the oil futures. I love his interaction with, that character actor. He was on like Deep Space Nine, I think, or something. He was on a Star Trek show.
He's the one who plays the prince, the brother. The smart brother,
Yeah, the smart brother that's trying to think long term for his people and for the nation.
Yeah.
And then how Clooney ties into that story ultimately.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like, because there are numerous motivations that are driving every situation in every part of the world.
Yeah.
And in this one, just to see more complexities folded into the story. It was just, I think it did come out at a time that there were so many of these types because the Iraq War was a few years, we'd been in that for a while.
Yeah.
Now we were in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And we were beginning to ask ourselves, like, how long are we going to be there? What is the long-term consequences of this? And kind of playing out the scenario. And this is where you get stories like this. So it's like, eventually, what was it, in the 80s when there was 17 Vietnam films in a row. And just like, even if this one is great, there's been so many recently.
Yeah, like Hamburger Hill, or when they were doing South Central stories, Boys in the Hood and all those.
Menace to Society, South Central.
Right.
Like 6 to 8 of them came out in a year and a half span.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, even if the 7th one is good, I've already seen a lot of these lately.
I get what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you revisited, dude. It's one of these ones that I can rewatch over and over and over again, being a political junkie and also the way it progresses through international politics, what's happened with Hezbollah, what's happening, because he plays a real-life character, Bob Baer, who wrote the book. So what happens to him at the end of the movie is not what actually happened to him in real life, I don't think. And so, but the ending is so fucking powerful because of what you said about Clooney's vulnerability. There's a soulfulness that
you can see it in his eyes.
Yes, and that a lot of feature actors, like movie stars, don't have this ability. And he does. No matter how much Tom Cruise tries, he never has this ability except for Magnolia and that scene with his dad.
No, it's a Tom Hanks character. I think,
exactly.
where you can sell me the compassion of the character just with your eyes.
Yes, and Clooney really does that because the husking nature of him, because he gained like 30 pounds for this. So he's a larger guy in this film, and he does these really like fucking unsettling shit, and he has this relationship with his son who's going off to college, but then the government that he was an agent of is turning on him because he sees the bullshit that's happening. He's trying to stop it from happening, which mirrors what the prince is trying to do in his country.
Yeah.
And so it's like you see their stories, and then you throw in Matt Damon, what he's trying to do with Amanda Peet, with his wife and his family. He's getting sucked into this. And then you throw in Jeffrey Wright and the stuff he's exploring with his dad.
Yeah.
So there's so many great storylines that are rooted in the family nature of this film. And all of a sudden, there's all this darkness, because then you also have the father and the son is becoming a terrorist because he wants to support his father. He wants to give his father some kind of money so that his father doesn't have to work shitty jobs anymore. Yeah. Like there's so many interesting motivations that are family based through this terrorist story. And like you said, Matt, out into oil futures. So it's connected. It's not just a fringe group. They're connected to these powerful forces.
All these
through Saudi Arabia
are intertwined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Migrant Workers, which is what his dad is, that's a crazy interesting story. Like in the UAB, they have so many migrant workers and they're all working on stuff, and sometimes they die in like mass numbers just because of the heat and all that, and their conditions are so crap.
Right.
And I think it's the UAB.
UAE, United Arab Emirates.
Right.
We're talking,
UAE.
Yeah. Not the University of Alabama in Birmingham.
Birmingham? Dude, they are terrible. UAE. The migrant workforce that like that type of storyline does exist, where you're pulled way far away from your home and you're sold a bill of goods, and you show up there and just like it's a lot of hard work for low pay in terrible conditions. Yeah. And you can see why, much the same way that you're a Yankees fan. Yeah. This kid gets drawn into, he gets compelled by that story, and he gets drawn in. Yeah. And when you're young enough, you can convince someone of any reality. Yeah. Because if that's all they know, then that is all they know, and that's all they're taught, and their worldview is that myopic. But yeah, the motivation's all around. But the flip on Clooney, when the worst part is, I understand why the U.S. government makes the choice they do.
Of course, that's the hard part that's what's so fantastic about this movie, Matt, is you understand why everyone chooses to do what they do,
and it hurts.
Yeah. it's a fucking tragedy of a movie, man.
Yeah.
Because it's so good about what it's showing, and you understand you can't solve this issue in 140 characters. It's not fucking black and white in any way, shape, or form. And if you actually...
it's real life.
Yeah, it's real life, and it's complex, and it's got all kinds of shit involved in it, and it's not a vacuum issue. It's an issue with many tentacles that reach into deep recesses of governments from multiple countries. And so when you look at that, you understand the complexity of the issue. It doesn't mean you can't still solve it. It doesn't mean you can't still find a way out. But you need to understand the issue if you're going to talk about the issue.
Yeah.
And this movie really does that for you. And that's why I love it. Stephen Gaghan, I think, directed it or wrote it.
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he wrote Traffic, but yeah, I think that's him. So yeah, it's a great movie. Anyway, so that was your number 2.
That was my 2.
Okay, so then my number 2 is United 93.
Okay, I knew it was going to be on your list.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm not going to watch it.
It's not one you can make yourself watch.
I lived that day.
Yep. Oh, talk to me about that.
Well, no, not like that.
Oh, okay.
Like the rest of the people our
Shit,
age.
I thought you knew somebody on the plane.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
We had a whole other dimension to go into, man.
Stories about that,
Yeah.
like either I need more time or I don't ever need to see them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I, like the rest of this country, basically just watch the news that day and for the next weeks on end.
Mm-hmm.
And what's changed today and why doesn't my world make sense today? What's
Right.
going to happen? We were all as a country. So I don't really care to go back and relive that.
Well, that's the horrible truth of 9/11 that nobody likes to talk about. We changed completely as a country and as a world from that day forward.
See, I think we're back to what we were before.
You do?
I think trust me, as a world, there was a genuine it seemed as though from every other country, because they could just imagine themselves having gone through it,
Right.
and be like, oh my God, my heart goes out to you because I don't even know how to process this.
Right.
Because now we can actually watch it over and over and over and over again.
True.
It's not the same as reading it in a paper or hearing about it secondhand.
Right.
When you can see it, it makes it much more visceral and real.
Yeah.
So you can visualize it in yours, and I think everybody just was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing now?
Yeah, well, and this is the thing with United 93. I respect the fact that you don't want to watch it because it is so realistic. It is so well done. Paul Greengrass directed it, who directed the Bourne Identity, the first Bourne movie. I think the first or the second Bourne movie. Let's say the one. Yeah, I think the second and third movie he directed. Doug Liman, I think, did the first one, if I'm correct. But either way, it's a fantastic film that delves into what happens on that plane, moment to moment. It is not, and there are people on the ground, obviously, but the majority of the action occurs on the plane, and you see what the stories you've read about, the stuff you saw on TV and documentaries, you see it come to life in this movie, and it is it's a heartbreaking ending because of the acting that these actors do. And David Rash, who plays Sledgehammer from that 80s film, and you always see him in these cheesy films, he is fantastic in the part that he plays in this film. And that's what I love about the film too, is all these great actors bring reality to what they're doing, a very powerful reality. You have the what's that let's go moment, or let's whatever it is that people now don't say anymore, because it refers to that moment. And so when they attack the terrorists, we see their vain attempts to survive the situation, and then also what they ultimately decide to do with that plane. So it's a fantastic film, and so I respect the fact with people not wanting to watch it. I saw it twice, and I probably will never watch it again because it is just so horrifically truthful.
Yeah, it's too real.
Yeah, it is too real. That's a perfect description, man.
Because you can easily go, I can visualize myself on that plane.
Yes.
And then eventually you have to make the choice.
Yep.
And the worst is I've read, small things of when people called from the plane.
Yes, and they have that.
Yeah, and I've read just the transcript
Yep.
of that. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yep. They use real life. They use the real life. All that stuff is there, and you're just like, man, this is insane.
I mean, the mentality of having to pick up that phone.
Mm-hmm. Let's roll. That's what it is. Let's roll.
Yeah, the let's roll, but just
that moment's there.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know, dude. Anyway,
it's too real.
But that's why I put it number 2, because it is so fucking good.
That's all I've ever heard.
Good. Yeah.
That's all I've ever heard, and I'm sure that it is.
And I think that's why I didn't win any awards. It didn't get nominated. I think the reason is because it was so fucking real. People were not willing to watch it themselves at their house to vote for it. I really believe that's what happened. Yeah, that's my opinion. All right, so what's your number 1?
My number 1 is a punt from yours once again earlier. Zero Dark 30.
Oh, nice choice, my friend.
Yeah, I assumed we had this at number 1 together.
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not. But go ahead.
Oh, there's a dismissive
No,
tone
I
if I've
wasn't
ever
saying.
heard one.
No, because I feel like I hate when we
man.
don't agree on the number one. It always sucks. It always sucks. But go ahead.
Well, it happens more often than not.
True. I know.
I mean, there are those times where it's just like, hey, number one, of course. It's
Right.
within this, like that was the easiest choice to make in this.
Yeah.
I figured in this just because there's another, true story that I was always fascinated by.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do we do it? What led up to it? What was the buildup? Like, how much intelligence did we have to get and gather? How many players were involved?
Yeah.
And then the on the ground, just the banality of it was a house.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Right.
And
All
the
torture.
ridiculous, salacious stuff that came out afterwards, like we found porn.
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't even know if that's true.
Right.
But you could just be doing it as a smear tactic now that we got him and we could say whatever we want. Nobody
Yeah.
can prove me wrong on this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would put it out because it seems rather petty considering we took the man's life.
Well, it's a way to try to erase him from being a martyr. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And take him down a couple notches and make him less to his own people.
We do it in sports all the time.
We do.
When owners fire an owner or fire a manager, they say, well, out the door, or a player. They say all this negative shit as they're walking out the door about the guy. It's like, well, fuck off.
Well, it's always like in the NBA after somebody gets traded or whatnot.
Yeah.
Then all the writers give out their pieces they've been sitting on for years.
Yeah, that's right.
Just like, this guy's gone. I don't, boom,
Yeah.
put all these out there. This is the time he pissed off this guy and this
Yeah.
guy and this guy.
Yeah.
We're happy to see him go. But in Zero Dark, it was just, once I heard they were doing a movie about this story, I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
I absolutely could not wait. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see, and hopefully that is very accurate.
Yeah.
Because in the end, as we've discussed in the past, the shot of her from the interior of, is it a cargo plane?
Yeah.
And the tail is down. It's one of those like C-130 type of planes, and it's just a silhouette, and it's her, and then the background is illuminated.
Yeah.
And I think it's a silhouette. And it's after, this should be the most exhilarating moment. You achieve the goal that you've been striving for, and it's more so it ends up being like, at what cost?
Yep.
I had to violate myself and my morality and this country's moralities and what I'm supposed to live by in the sake of this goal. And I accomplished that goal.
Right.
But could I have gotten there in a cleaner path?
Yeah.
Did I have to crawl through the mud so much to get this done? And was the end result worth it?
That's the one. That's the look that's what I see from the look. Was this all worth it? Because you're right. She lost her friend to the bombing.
Yep.
She had to deal with Jason Clarke and the torture tactics of waterboarding.
Yep.
And then she also had to like battle her superiors constantly to force them to finally like listen to her so they can go after Bin Laden, find Bin Laden. Then she had to deal with these dudes not believing in her on the team, initially the SEAL team, that were like kind of not that respectful of her initially. Like Joel Edgerton and Chris Pratt.
I took it as not respectful to her, but also not respectful to, many of these missions we've been on.
Yeah, true.
And they
That's
say that we're going for this, and we show up there, and it's a tenth of what they promised. Yeah. We're going to get Bin Laden.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
I got to imagine most of the military is like that. It's like, a huge information cache. Yeah. Get in there. We're going to find out. And you show up and be like, it was some maps or something. There was some stuff there.
Right. It's that Geraldo shit. We open up the vault.
The safe.
Like nothing.
Yeah, the Al Capone safe, and it's empty. I remember that as a kid, and the Titanic one.
Oh, that's right.
They opened it up,
one.
and the back of it had already fucking rusted out or something.
Yeah.
So it was just like, man, nothing in there.
Yep. Yeah, and I think Chastain, I don't know if she'll ever do a better performance. She was so
I believe she could.
great in this film.
She was.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything since then that comes close.
When you show you've got a gear like that, then you can get back to that gear.
I guess so.
Maybe it's tough to find.
Seagal's never gone back to that gear.
I think that one was like one of those tricky fifth gears or something, and only the driver knows how to operate.
That was his Mark Rippon year. Yeah, that one good year.
Yeah,
and
he even shocked himself and be like, "See, I can do this. Oh my god, I can't believe I can do this." And then his lack of confidence in that regard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but she's so good in it, and it's what, like Syriana, it takes you into the machinations of this whole process and how much politics is involved, how much red tape is involved, how much looking good, not rocking the boat too much, having to respect situations because of protocol, all these steps that you have to take to try to get to the ultimate goal, which is to catch this guy. If they say they want to catch this guy, why the fuck are we delaying? And that's the whole thing about the film, right? She keeps writing those numbers down in red on the window, which I think is one of the most brilliant tactics they could have used in the movie. And so all of that just conveys her desire to find this guy. So,
all right, so what do you got at 1?
My number 1 is one we punted from at number 9 for you, man. Air Force One, dude. Air Force One. That's a goddamn great film.
It's better than Zero Dark 30?
Oh, my God, on so many levels, man. No, I won't say it's better. Well, here's what I'll say. I enjoy it. It's one I can go back and watch over and over again.
Okay.
And that's why it kind of went to number 1 for me. You got Gary Oldman as classic terrorist.
The best it was going to do on my list was probably number 8, but I didn't want to do back-to-back with 2 Harrison Fords.
Right.
So I separated for the sake of breaking it up a little bit.
That's fine.
That's my own, but... yeah, I was never going to jump that high.
Ah, Jesus. I think Harrison's fantastic in this movie, man. And he's so great as the president. I mean, who would ever do the president in this way? And Glenn Close is down there as vice president. All this shit going on through the whole film, the stuff with his daughter, stuff with his wife. And then, Gary Oldman doing all that. It's really dark. And then you have Xander Berkeley turning on him, being part of the whole. So the whole film itself is a fun ass ride. Even though there's still enough darkness with Oldman is doing as this terrorist, taking over Air Force One. I mean, it's just such a genius idea. And people's like, so Die Hard on a plane. Sure. But you have Harrison Ford. And so if I'm not going to put, and really, I went back and forth about putting Die Hard on this list because I'm like, they're not terrorists, they're thieves. So that's why they're not on. That's why Die Hard wasn't on my list. But I consider
they're thieves.
Yeah, they're thieves.
They're using that is the facade by which they're perpetrating their actual crime.
Exactly. Whereas in this film, in Air Force One, they're legitimately terrorists. They're trying to take down the entire United States government by hijacking the president, kidnapping the president, his family, whoever else was on the plane that are part of his chief of his chairman of the, what do they call it?
Chief of staff?
No, what do they call it? The cabinet.
The cabinet?
His cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah, members of his cabinet. All these people that could bring he's trying to bring the United States to a stop so that he can get what he needs as a terrorist and get that in and bring the United States to their knees. So all of it is so well done, so much fun. Then that's why I put it as high as I did.
Look, it made my list.
Yeah, I did.
And I'm not saying it's a bad film.
Okay.
I don't know. It's the premise to me is more popcorny.
Yes, all right.
And if it went more that route, then I think I would enjoy it that much more. But it's a popcorny premise,
right,
that tries to go serious. And the idea of someone taking over Air Force One is so ludicrous to me. There's so much security.
Right.
There is so much security.
But they had inside people.
Okay. You were in intelligence.
Yes.
You got reassessed every year.
Yes, but this is...
You're telling me...
Yeah, I know.
That this many guys could weasel their way into this very specific job?
But that's what I enjoy about it. It's very fun.
It's a popcorn premise to me, though. It's just like a...
Because they come aboard through another plane.
Ahoy, mateys.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a pirate film in that way.
They are pirates. It's what they are. We call them terrorists now, but they're kind of pirates. But I mean, I do like the idea of Oldman trying to get Harrison to his knees.
Yes.
Just the metaphorical, the U.S. to their knees.
Yeah.
You are not the all-powerful God you believe you are.
Good point.
Guess what? Get off my plane.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane.
I just love it. All right, so that's our lists for both of us. Now we're going to combine the lists and then do some drumming and some falsetto shit. So listen, obviously Zero Dark 30 should be number 1 because it's my number 3.
All right.
And so who's doing the banging today? Do you remember?
I don't have the slightest clue at this point because we had Cody on the drums last week.
That's true, we did.
So I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what we got. By the way, I still have the drum in my car. I just don't have the stand.
Yeah, we're not going to bring that out.
No, we're not. It just happens to be in the back of my car because I haven't taken it out.
All right. So Zero Dark 30 should be number 1. I don't know why this phone is being so weird right now.
All right, fine. I'll write it down. You bang.
I'll bang. I'm happily bang. Well, this is interesting because I'm moving Patriots Day down to 5, below Zero Dark 30, which moves up to 3, and Syriana, which is there at 4. As I rethought the list as it came on, I was like, oh yeah, maybe Patriots Day should move down. So now that's my number 5. So Air Force One is still my number 1. It's your number 9.
Yes.
What do you have next?
I like that you just had the discussion in your head. You just made us all privy to.
Well, sorry. What's yours?
My next
I want
one
the fans know that I rearranged the order.
is Syriana.
Which is my number 4. Fuck.
And then I have Under Siege after that, which won't be in the discussion, I'm guessing, until a little bit later.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll do Zero Dark 30, Syriana, then Air Force One.
Done.
Then will you give me United 93 since I dropped my number 1 all the way down to number 3?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So then we're at 5.
We're at 5.
So
and then I have Under Siege next. Where do you have that again?
So Under Siege is number 8 for me.
I think we both have Munich together higher.
Yes, I have 6. I have it at 6.
All right, let's do Munich there.
Okay.
Will you give me Under Siege next at 6?
Yes.
That really hurts to put Under Siege at number 6. That movie is a top 3 contender.
I don't know how Under Siege is top 3, but Air Force One is not. What's the fucking difference? Air Force One is a better film.
I don't believe it is.
You're out of your fucking mind.
For pure rewatchability, enjoyment, and overall finished product of a movie, it's Under Siege.
No.
For me.
Yeah, fair
every
enough.
time.
For you.
5 days or 7 days out of the week and twice on Sunday.
All right. What do you have next? What number are we at 2?
We're up to 7.
All right. I have Patriots Day next. What do you have next?
I have The Rock next.
All right. Will you give me Patriots Day there at 7 and The Rock at 8?
Fair enough.
All right. Have we put Under Siege on the list already now? Number 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what do you have next? Oh, do we have anything else in common? I don't think we do.
True Lies, Patriot Games, Body of Lies.
I have Patriots Game at 9. Do you want to put Patriot Games on there?
All right. Patriot Games at 9.
Okay. And then what do you have left?
True Lies.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, I have a couple others, but that's the only one that I think should make the list.
Okay. I have Crying Game and A Mighty Heart.
Oh, well, I got 3 left and you only have 2?
Yeah.
Well, then when you give me True Lies, then we
guess so.
both are leaving off 2.
You suck. All right, fine. We'll put that cheesy film at number 10. I'm joking. All right, do you have any honorable mentions?
Kind of not really.
Okay.
No, I mean, others I disqualified, like In the Name of the Father. They were accused of being
They were
in the
accused
IRA,
of. They were not terrorists.
not
right.
in the IRA.
Right.
The one that I supposedly we both need to see is the Battle of Algiers.
Yeah, 1966 movie. I know.
Haven't seen. That's the one I tried to get my hands on. I couldn't do it.
Okay. It's on Criterion. So I'll take a look.
I got a copy without the subtitles.
Ooh.
And I was like, I can't. There's nothing I could do with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like,
Let's watch it with a French speaker.
yeah, I don't know what they're saying right now, so this doesn't help me at all.
This means they're in battle. All right. Mine are, well, we were talking about True Lies. Some of All Fears I put on here.
I got on my side list, sure.
And then I have Red Eye on my side list. I really wanted to talk myself into Red Eye because Cillian Murphy is trying to commit a terrorist act, and that's why he's trying to get access to Rachel McAdams' dad, so that because he's a member of the government, and they're trying to use his intelligence to carry out a terrorist act, and he almost does it.
That would work.
Yeah, he almost does it. But all these other films are just better films and more on point about terrorism than Red Eye was. But Red Eye is a fucking great film, so I wanted to let people know if you're going to see this, go see this. Cillian Murphy is fantastic.
What about this? I wrote it down and I was like, no, but it makes for an interesting argument.
Okay.
Fight Club. Because they're kind of a terrorist organization and they just run mayhem around the city.
They do.
They want to destroy the civilization.
Right.
It's not because it's the American government, it's because it's government.
Right.
And they blow up the 3 or 4 credit card companies.
I think you can make a case.
Yeah.
I just don't see it as a terrorist film.
No.
Because it's more about a personal journey film about that character.
I was like,
Yeah.
it's a gray area. If I wanted to, I could argue it.
But then you could wonder, but you have to wonder if anything you saw is true because he's
nuts.
He's schizophrenic in the worst way. Yeah. All right, well that's our let's do the countdown. I'll do the banging. Let's make it happen.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I got to get going. Let's go.
Sweet falsetto.
All right. The top 10 terrorist films. It seems weird to do falsetto. All right, let's do that. At number 10.
True Lies.
At number 9.
Patriot Games.
At number 8.
The Rock.
At number 7.
Patriots Day.
At number 6.
Under Siege.
At number 5.
Munich.
At number 4.
United 93.
At number 3.
Air Force One.
At number 2.
Syriana.
And our number 1 film about terrorism is
Zero Dark 30.
It's a good list. A lot of good films on this list.
There are.
Once again, we do great work.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show.
Yes,
and
hopefully.
we did what we promised. We stayed away from any of the dark and kept it mostly on the light and just had a good time.
Yeah.
And you escaped with it.
And maybe we educated you a little bit about these films or about these topics.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully there's something in there that you haven't seen. I know we both haven't seen Battle of Algiers, so we'll need to go out and see that.
Yes.
I just need to find a subtitled copy.
I could send you websites, but you don't want to do that kind of stuff. So,
But anyway,
yes.
so anyway, our Patreon page is up.
Yes.
For those that have been asking, it is up. We only got to talk about it in abstract last week.
Yes.
But it's been up for a week now.
Yes.
So thank you to everybody that's been on board thus far.
And send us ideas because we're still kind of hashing out what we want to do for the tiers. And we're open to hear, because we're an interactive show. We're open to hear what you guys have to say about what you recommend for certain dollar amounts. So we are open. It doesn't mean we'll take the idea. It just means maybe it'll jog something or we'll like it. Who knows?
Yeah, but we're not going to turn down a good idea. There's no point to.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we have everybody out there actually gave it any kind of thought, well, that means there's probably going to be thousands of great ideas.
Yeah.
Just given the number of people that are listening now.
Right.
So sure, it's like getting them, tens of thousands of computers at your disposal. It's like, go ahead, churn it out.
Let's do
See
it.
if you can come up with something. If you can, let us know on Facebook or Twitter. Just contact us somewhere. That way we could, if it is something worthwhile, we could easily do it. But yeah, so we're working on Thunderdome. You obviously have seen that tier up there. And the way that it'll work is, we're working on getting it back, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And if we get it the way we think we can, we'll do it twice a month. And for those 2 weeks, we'll be drawing 3 names. So the first person would, you lose, but you kind of win. The first person, the name that we pull determines what the category is.
Yes.
So it could be Spielberg, it could be sci-fi, it could be whatever you want it to be. And then you make the other choice of, is it Thunder or Blunderdome?
Yes.
So, and then the next 2 names after that we draw, choose the 2 movies. And then those people fight, and we will then, talk about that movie as soon as a winner is declared.
Yes.
Whenever the next Thunderdome is supposed to come out, that will be that movie.
Yeah. And we're doing shout outs. We're looking at recording video thank yous for you, or personal video thank yous for you. So things of that nature. Like, we're exploring everything. So, if you've got ideas and it works for us, because as much ideas as we can come up with, what is it that you want from us? Like, we don't know what you want from us because we're not you. What would you enjoy seeing us do for a certain dollar amount? What would you enjoy getting back from us for a certain dollar amount? We are open to it all. And it doesn't mean we're going to do it. It just means, it could jog. We hadn't thought of this, Matt. We didn't know they wanted this from us. So great. Can we make it work? Great. We can make it work. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So it's possible. Picking topics, suggesting movies that we can review that are not necessarily like out on film or out in theaters right now. You want us to revisit a classic film, or revisit a film that you love, or maybe Matt and I record a commentary of a film, or we just sit down, watch a film we've never seen before, and then talk about it.
And all those types of ideas will, it's unclear as to whether or not you'll need to be part of the tier to get unlocked access to that.
Yeah.
Or just to be able to interact and help make the choices.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to figure out, is the best way to do this to maximize it for you and for us.
Yeah.
So everybody is getting what they feel they deserve out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
So just give us a little time. We have some early ideas up there, but they can always change. This is all malleable.
Yep.
So if you're like, that's not worth it to me, but hey, what about this?
Right.
And there's enough people saying, yeah, I think that's a better idea. Sure.
We'll do it.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
We're not cocky.
And no, not at all. We're here to provide entertainment.
Exactly.
So part of that is pleasing the peeps.
That's right.
And also, I think we're going to be switching our Facebook page to more of a group.
Yes.
So that way, when you guys suggest something, it can gain traction with you as listeners, and it's an easier way for us to basically be part of a community where you can help influence and grow the show and help us turn it into, what you want it to be and what we want it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Try and make this as symbiotic as we possibly can.
That's a good big word. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Chris Alexakos and Kristen Smith for doing the work that they do for us every week.
Week in, week out. Thank you so much to those two, Chris and Kristen, and Kristen for making the great artwork, and Chris for just coming up with so many great ideas.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to both of you, and thank you everybody out there for listening. If you want to check in with me, you can follow me on Twitter at Matt Knost, MattKnost. That's also the same on Instagram or on Facebook, but honestly, Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. Or you guys can follow me at the Rocha, and you guys can follow me at the Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram.
No. It's an either or.
Yeah,
it's an either or.
And all the work I'm doing on Collider, and of course the Cine Files over on iTunes, and of course Outlaw Nation on this SK Plus podcast channel. And thanks for downloading the show on SK Plus. So many great shows on here: the Wanger Show, Schmodown Rundown, After Schmo Show, our show, the Outlaw Nation, the new show that's coming out with Ace and RB3, and I think Frank Janis is doing his stats show that's coming out. So I think it's going to be on SK Plus. So much content. Go and leave them comments and leave them ratings and leave us the same as well. So thanks everybody for listening this week. We will talk to you all next time.
Yep. Bye-bye. Oh, did you think the episode is over? It is not, but it will be briefly. I'm just here to answer a couple more quick questions. We recorded the show as we were releasing the Patreon. So one issue arose, and then I want to further clarify a couple things that are on there, and then I will be done, and then you'll hear the blaring music, and show will be officially over. First and foremost, the first, I would say, 30 to 40 minutes that the Patreon was up, it was by creation as opposed to what it is now, which is by subscription. So anybody that signed up for more than one tier as a creation, now I saw one person that was signed up to pay $30 a month, and there isn't a tier for that, which means you signed up for two things when it was in that first half an hour, and God bless you. You were Johnny on the ball, if that's a phrase. I don't think it is. But just go in there. You can cancel it out and subscribe at the tier that you would prefer. I don't believe anybody has been charged yet because I don't think Patreon does that until the first of the month. So you should be able to easily go in there and take care of it. And if you don't mind paying the random denomination that it is, then, good on you and God bless you. But at the same time, we don't want to charge you anything that you didn't sign up for. We don't want to dupe you. We're not here to just take your money. We're here to provide as much content as you guys want to listen to and do it so it's an equal partnership between the two of us. And being that we're both single entities. Anyway, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is the two upper tiers, the one that houses, which is Chimp Strong, that houses Thunderdome, Blunderdome, and then the one above that, Boss Hog, where if you go to the Boss Hog level, you will get to pick a show. So we'll start there. We have shows lined up for the next, by the time you're hearing this, about a month and a half to 2 months. So what you want to do, those of you that have promised to pay, and after the first, I will know specifically who those individuals are. If take a look at the release schedule over the next 3 to 6 months and start thinking up topics. You have, in essence, 2 months to get back to us, but we'll reach out to you before then. But go ahead and look at the next 3 to 6 months, figure out there's a topic that you want, and I'm not sure, John and I haven't specifically talked about it, but I'd assume it's first come, first serve. So if you get your idea in and somebody else wants that week and they want to do something, well, unfortunately, that week has been taken, so that individual will have to, move on to a different weekend. And also, please try and keep the topic relatable. We have a massive crowd, bigger than it ever was on Collider and bigger than it ever was previously on Schmoes Know. The numbers are actually pretty ridiculous. So please take that into account. It's a massive international crowd, so we try not to get too obscure on the topic because we want to appeal to the broadest amount of people that we can. Now, it doesn't bother us when there are weeks when people say, you know what, I've only seen a couple on your list, but if the mass of the individuals listening all say, you know what, I haven't seen any of those, I don't know what you're talking about, well, then I'm not sure what they're tuning in to listen to other than just two assholes ramble, which they could be doing week in, week out. I'm not entirely sure all of your motivations, but I'm not going to question that because that would be undercutting my position. Anyway, So just try and keep it. You've seen the list of movies that or not movies, but topics that we've covered. I think the most esoteric has been movies with the city in the title, but at the same time, have fun, get creative, or if you want to hear us talk about Tom Hanks, then pick Tom Hanks, like whatever it is. Just please don't get too obscure. And then lastly, for Thunderdome, because we aren't going to be charging anyone, or Patreon's not going to be charging anyone until November 1st, we're not going to actually begin the drawings and the voting and all the aspects of it until we get the full list of names. So basically, I think going forward, we'll probably wait until the first of every month, and those will be the candidates for Thunderdome for that month. And also, I don't think it's listed on there, but Boss Hog, your names are also entered into Thunderdome. Because every other tier, if you paid for the 20, now you get the 10, 5, and 1. It just wasn't on there for the Boss Hog level. But anyway, so we'll be starting that on November 1st. And once again, we're drawing, 3 names. So for, there'll be a decent number of you a decent percentage rather, that gets selected this first time around. As the number potentially increases, your odds go down. So good for you getting in early. And on that, once again, whoever picks first, or whoever's name gets picked first, you get to choose either Thunder or Blunder, and then whatever the topic is. But I think that's cleared up everything for the time being, hopefully answered some questions, and then John and I will try and be available to questions going forward on, Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, if you really want to go a roundabout way doing it. And also, we're going to be making changes to the Facebook page itself, too, with the help of Chris Alexakos and potentially a couple other people. But just stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for listening. I have rambled enough.